Hey there and welcome back. So this video is a follow-up to the last video I just recorded and uploaded, which was about how to balance your existing business with a newborn baby. In this video, I want to talk sort of about the next stage that baby's going to go through, and again, share the things that really helped me to sort of keep my sanity in this whole process of having all of these things going on and all of these things to do. So the next distinct stage for me is 4 months, 5 months, depending on when your child comes out of that kind of leap, until mobile. I am still in that stage because our little boy is like more on the lazy side. So although he desperately wants to be on the move, it ain't going to happen anytime shortly at the way he's going. So there were some advantages and disadvantages to this stage as well. So I'm going to go through those first, and then I'm going to share my top tips that really helped me not to lose my marbles at this point in time. So the real advantage of this stage is, first of all, that you get more interaction from baby. So, you know, in the last video, I probably became a bit unpopular by saying that I used to call it the meatloaf stage, because you feel like you have this thing that you have to have with you and like feed it and talk to it and change it and put it to sleep and hold it and sing to it and do this and do that. But there's very little in return, right? It's all you putting input into baby. So eventually that's going to come back at you in return. So the advantage of this stage is that you're starting to get smiles, you're starting to get baby talking back to you, making different noises, cooing, and it makes you feel a whole lot better about the whole situation. So that is the first thing. It's a mental thing, but you're like, hey, I feel like I'm out of this extremely needy stage. Yes, it's still a baby. Yes, baby still needs you, but you've passed this incessant, I demand food now. I demand sleep now. And you're moving more onto the stage where you can say, oh, your bottle is going to be ready in 5 minutes, or I'm going to finish this and then I'm going to feed you. So that's a huge bonus. The second thing that happens over the next few weeks is that baby starts holding toys. And once baby can actually hold something and look at it, it makes a world of a difference. So you can start using things like the play mats that have the arches over the tops and the dangly toys that they can reach out for and swat and look at. So you have so many more options when it comes to finding something for baby to do than you had when they were newborn and they don't really do any of that yet. So that adds a lot of flexibility on how you can kind of organize yourself. Disadvantages, there is plenty. My first disadvantage is Leap 4. So I'll actually show it to you. If you haven't got the Wonder Weeks app, I think I'll do a separate video about that. I know some people don't believe this to be true. However, I've worked in early years for a long time, and the kind of developmental stages that we expect to happen round about the same ages, they fall right after one of the leaps that they mentioned in the Wonder Weeks app. So it kind of does make an awful lot of sense. So in the app, I don't know if you can see that. Yes, you can. So you get the different dates or weeks when the child's going through a specific leap. And yeah, there's more time that they're going through a leap than they're not. But you see the first three are kind of shorter, and then there's this really big one here. That one, oh my word. 4 months old, we had like whinging, like him wanting to do stuff and not being able to quite do it, reaching out for toys but not being able to hold them properly, and that just caused so much frustration. And they're developing something really important in their brain at that point, so their body's working overtime. So that's Leap 4. That was hard work. Then some children go through a sleep regression, although again, some people don't believe that this is a sleep regression. This is simply their sleep maturing and changing, and us not kind of catching on to that quick enough. So that's another thing that made you extremely exhausting, because my child was already not sleeping an awful lot, plus combined with this, he started waking up every 45 minutes at night. So that was a killer. This was my least productive time of the entire time that I've been running my business. Also, they start realizing shortly after that they're not actually a part of you. They're not like your arm or your leg. They can actually be separated from you. So some children start going through the first bout of separation anxiety, which means that they may not like you to put them down, or they may not like you to move too far away from them, but they start reaching out for stuff. So if you have them next to you and you're trying to work on your laptop and you've got baby bashing on your laptop, this is kind of when it starts getting a bit difficult. This time is no good for calls. Like, my little one just started blabbing like crazy, and every time somebody spoke, he wanted to talk, and he would talk so loud that you wouldn't be able to hear anything. So you're going to have to start making another plan if you have to take calls. This is where childcare came in, working in the evenings when your other half is at home, finding clients that also are parents and they have a second childcare at home and they can actually do calls on the weekends. There is always a way around it. So you just have to kind of restructure. So my top tips were, there's 5 of them. Number 1, keep moving around the house. So in every room in our house, we have a little play area set up. It's nothing fancy. It's just different toys in every room. I still do that actually. Oh, sorry, I bashed my microphone. It's really nothing fancy. Behind there's just an old blanket that we've used outside for picnics and stuff. A cushion so that he can lean against it if he wants to, and a bucket of Duplo. So if I have to quickly sit down and do something, I can just actually park him over there. We have the same in our bedroom. We have an area to play in his bedroom. We have an area to play in the kitchen. We have an area. Otherwise, I would get nothing done. So in every room, there's somewhere where I can put him, and there's different toys. It's really important that it's something new. As they get older, they get bored of toys really quickly. So the more you can rotate them, you don't need loads of toys, just have 2 or 3 things out at the same time, but then keep rotating them. So every time you get it out again, it's like they're getting a new toy. It holds their attention for so much longer. So yeah, move them around the house often, give them new areas to look at, and give them different toys to play with in every area. That was actually tip 2, swap the toys around. Tip 3, get naps sorted. So if you can start looking at, by the time they hit 6 months, falling into a more predictable schedule as to when they're going to have naps and how long they're for, like the earlier you make that investment in your time, the better, because otherwise you will never get more than half an hour to 45-minute blocks of work if you have a cat napper, and that can be super difficult. So if you want to get them closer to getting for 3 longer naps, then now's the time to try and teach them to stay asleep beyond the 45-minute mark. If you need to get help, I'll recommend you a sleep consultant. But yeah, getting naps sorted helps, because once your naps are on a predictable schedule, you can actually start booking calls again. So when Jack hit about 9 months, his naps are always in the mornings at some point around 9 o'clock, mostly for an hour to 2 hours, and then again in the afternoon for an hour to 2 hours. The morning nap is more predictable than the afternoon one. He sometimes wakes up early from that. The school run happens outside our house, like right at nap time. So we have a lot of cars beeping, people shouting, and sometimes that wakes him up. So I know if I need to book an appointment on a day where I don't have childcare, I can do that when it's this morning nap time, and it's not so much of an issue. You need just some really good planning. So before you go to bed at night, work out what you're going to do the next day in nap number 1, in nap number 2, in nap number 3, and then just expect to get nothing else done while he's awake at the minute. And it's absolutely fine. If you've planned that properly, you will still get stuff done. But if you get into nap time and you have to hit the ground running, if you start thinking, okay, he's asleep, so what do I have to do now? Okay, I think I need to do this, or maybe that, then you will feel like you're not making any progress. So start with your goals, pick tasks that are going to help you to achieve your goals, and crush those as soon as this child's got their eyes closed. So forward planning helps, and start teaching them to play on their own. So from the beginning, we played together for a few minutes, and then I would go and sit on the sofa and leave him. Even if I was just reading a book or having a cup of coffee, I do not constantly have him sit on my lap, showing him things. Sometimes he'll get a bit grizzly because he's bored with the toys that he's looking at. So I'll pack them up and I'll get out some new ones and I'll show them to him, and then I leave him to it. That's helped me an awful lot. Okie dokes. So that was the 4 or 5 months to mobile stage. I know some of them are mobile already at about 8 months. Like I say, Jack's coming up for 11 months and he's not anywhere near being mobile. So I'll do the next update once he's actually started to move around more, because I'm going to practice with him that he plays in a fixed area. Like I'm going to have a play mat and he's going to play with his toys in that area. And it's going to take me a good couple of weeks of constantly saying, oh, it's playtime now, playtime we do here. And to keep putting him back in the same place until he gets that. That's where I want him to play and not crawl under the furniture and start emptying stuff out. So I know it's doable. I just know that it takes that commitment. So I'll update you on how I did that once we get around to that point. But this is going to be the key. If I want to get anything done, if I want to cook dinner, he needs to understand that if he's on a play mat, I would like him to stay there just while we're cooking. Once we're playing, we can crawl around and we can put that mat away. But it's going to become kind of a symbol of him understanding that it's mat playtime now. Yeah, so I'm going to get onto some other videos. I've got loads more ideas written down of stuff I wanted to talk about for ages, but felt like I couldn't say publicly. So yeah, if you are interested in hearing more, press the subscribe button. If you want to join a community of other women trying to do the same thing, find our Facebook group. It's called Crush It with Confidence. We have a live show in there every week where I interview pretty inspirational entrepreneurs about their journey and their top tips for juggling everything. So if you search for the group on Facebook, you'll find us. I'll also put the link below. I just know sometimes the link in the description doesn't work properly. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you around. And if you have any video requests and something that you're struggling with in your business while you have, the kids around, then let me know. Drop me a message somewhere. Find me on Facebook, drop me a message, and I'll do another video for that too. I'll see you around. Bye.